Okay, so I was talking to a young employee and he was asking me for advice. At least I think he was. I don't think I was just offering it. That doesn't sound like me at all. So he was asking for insight about, give me one little tidbit. And I thought about it and I said, listen, I'm about to tell you something that you're not likely to hear anyplace else. Not because I think I'm so smart, just because I don't think that this is something that people share very often or maybe think about very often. I told him, and I looked in his eyes when I told him this. I said, whatever you do, learn to love our artists deeply. Fall in love with our artists. It's the best thing you can do to become great at your job. My point that I was trying to make to him is this. Creatives can sometimes be seen as different than those of us who work in the other parts of the industry. And yet, we don't have a product without them. If you want to make your life nicer, shower them with love that comes from your heart. Because when you look at them and you love them, when you have grace for them and compassion for them, it becomes a much more pleasant working experience for them and for you. Now, I like to say that I woke up one day and I understood that, or the Spirit of God whispered in my ear and told me that. The truth is, I learned that concept from watching my mentor, Ken Pennell. I always felt like anytime I was watching him with a room full of artists, or seeing him one-on-one with an artist, or hearing him talk about an artist, there was a little extra something in his regard for them that I can only describe as love. It took me a long time to recognize he was not just super passionate about creatives in general, starstruck and whatnot, but that he really had a heart, a tender, compassionate heart towards them. And I liked that. It felt like the kingdom of God to me. So as I got to know him, I just wanted to take on those life habits, those business habits, those soul habits that I saw that fed that spark. And so I started practicing love for my artists. Now, much like any of our relationships, it doesn't mean that every day is perfect, and it doesn't mean that every artist is perfect. I'd like to tell you that all of my projects run smoothly, and I've worked on some really big records. One thing about really big records, they are rarely smooth. Crisis abounds. Almost every week is a new crisis, something fighting you from staying on budget and keeping your release date. But in those moments of crisis, the thing that I am consistently the most grateful for is fostering love for my creatives and fostering love for my artists so that when I come to the crisis, it is genuinely from my heart, a desire to serve them, to cover them, to pray for them, to love them. I have compassion for my artists. And I will say this, I keep one end goal in mind, not just that we'll get this project in on time, we'll be very close to on budget, but that at the end of the process, no matter how many crises we had to walk through together, that they felt supported, that they felt appreciated, that they felt understood, that they felt valued, and at the end of the day, that they would turn to me and say, now when can we do this again?